Clayface terrifies the movie studios. Detective Montoya investigates his crimes. Bruce Wayne is interrogated. The second episode of Batman, Caped Crusader, is full of details and features a different version of Clayface than we know. Join me in this video to catch all the Easter eggs as we analyze each scene in this spoiler review. Welcome to Comic Chronicles. Episode 2 of Batman, Caped Crusader, is one of the most investigative episodes, where we follow Detective Montoya and Batman, each with their own puzzle, piecing together all the clues surrounding a new wave of murders happening in the movie studios of Gotham. But before we dive into this investigation, leave your bat like here in the video and your bat subscription. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes of this marathon of Batman, Caped Crusader reviews. Let's get into the video. Bruce Wayne is being interrogated by Renee Montoya because the young actress Yvonne Francis has been missing for 2 days, and Gotham's most coveted millionaire was the last to see her. As he begins to share information with the detective, his lawyer, Lucius Fox, intervenes, questioning why Bruce was brought to the precinct if he's not a suspect. As they leave, Bruce takes advantage of the fact that Montoya is focused on Fox and places something in her coat. One thing I want to highlight here is that I believe the spotlight in this episode was shared between Montoya and Clayface. Although Clayface appears in villain form in small moments during the episode, by the end, you have the entire reveal that proves his importance alongside Renee Montoya, who conducts most of the investigation while Batman investigates in parallel. In the car with Alfred, Bruce realizes that Montoya is a good police officer and could be a resource for Batman's investigations. Montoya talks to James Gordon to better understand Yvonne's case and decides her next step is to go to the film studio and speak with the actress's colleagues, starting with Basil Carlo. The actor has done 6 films with the missing partner, and he usually plays the villain chasing the damsel in distress. He claims to have heard rumors that she was hanging out with a bad crowd and got into trouble, but wonders whether the rumors are true or not. He quickly interrupts the interrogation, stating he doesn't want to be late for a meeting with Edmund Haynes, the director of a new film. Speaking with Mr. Haynes' assistant, Montoya begins to uncover lies from Carlo, seeing a recent photo where he and Yvonne appear at the same event. Immediately, she goes after the actor, but upon arriving at his apartment, she hears a scream, kicks the door open, and finds Carlo stabbed on the floor, then rushes to the phone and calls for a squad car and an ambulance to help the actor. Outside the apartment window, Clayface spies on the detective, but Batman comes up from behind and surprises him. The villain runs away and manages to escape, forcing Batman to choose between protecting a civilian on the street or apprehending him. Next, Yvonne wakes up in an unknown room, handcuffed and being watched by a man whose identity has yet to be revealed. At GCPD, Montoya tries to figure out what she is missing in the investigation. She fears disappointing Gordon, who promoted her to detective. Harvey Dent pressures Montoya about the case's progress, urging her to accelerate her results, and once again we see him being questioned about his actions, thinking only of politics without caring about true justice. It's all a big facade for his campaign. Montoya returns to the studio to interrogate each person involved in the productions where Yvonne and Basil worked, and she discovers that Basil was in love with Yvonne, who only admired him. Additionally, he never got the lead role he dreamed of due to his appearance, even though he was an excellent actor. Feeling rejected, he became obsessed with changing his looks and resorted to desperate methods to do so. The actor hired the studio's makeup artist to undergo a cosmetic treatment to change his face, but after not getting the results he wanted, he claimed the artist was a fraud, which angered the makeup artist, who ended up assaulting him. Consequently, the makeup artist was immediately expelled from the studio. Here in this scene, we can see that the man who appeared holding Yvonne captive is the studio's makeup artist. As Montoya continues her investigation, at one of the filming sets, the director who worked on Basil Carlo's films is attacked by Clayface, who is also there to take revenge on him. However, Carlo is unsuccessful because Batman was also present at the studios. Clayface engages in a brief sword fight with the Caped Crusader, but quickly knocks over the entire set on top of Batman to make his escape. Soon, Batman escapes the collapse through the underground floor of that set and finds 2 bodies there. He contacts Alfred, stating that the bodies have been dead for 1 day. However, one of those bodies is of an actor who was interrogated by Montoya just an hour earlier. In East End, Montoya requests backup to apprehend the studio's makeup artist, who has been fired and expelled, as he is now a suspect in this wave of murders. Meanwhile, Batman heads to the coroner's office to investigate the body of Basil Carlo that had been found. There he discovers that this body is not Basil's. Returning to Montoya, she encounters the suspect and soon engages in combat, but ends up being knocked out by the makeup artist, who is revealed to be Basil Carlo, the Clayface. Clayface reveals the whole truth to Montoya. He says that the makeup artist developed a serum that allows him to alter the shape of his face, and now he has a face that can portray 1,000 roles. Almost everyone Montoya interrogated was actually Basil Carlo in disguise, who, during his quest for revenge, developed a taste for killing people, in addition to being rejected by his love. Clayface then shows Yvonne Francis tied to a bed next to Montoya and activates a death trap to finish off the actress, but Batman arrives just in time to save them and defeat Basil Carlo. Batman defeats Clayface and leaves as Bullock and Flass arrive at the scene at Montoya's request. After that, Montoya notices the listening device implanted by Batman in her coat, and she contacts him, stating that they still have things to resolve, concluding this episode. We definitely had a great episode here. Without a doubt, one of the best of the season. The atmosphere of the story and the level of writing are on par with an episode of Batman, the animated series, in my opinion. Clayface had a brilliant adaptation in Caped Crusader. The plot involving a serum that allows him to change the shape of his face it will even recalls the origin episode of Clayface in BTAS, but there it was Matt Hagen, who in the comics is the second Clayface. In Caped Crusader, they brought in Basil Carlo, the first Clayface who appeared in the 1940s, during the Golden Age. Basil was a horror film actor who, after finishing one of his movies, needed reshoots, but with another actor in his role. He decided to take revenge on the entire production by committing murders, using a mud mask to change his face, but he was stopped by Batman and Robin. As we can see, these two origins were merged for Caped Crusader, and in my opinion, it resulted in something quite interesting. Even if you already knew who Basil Carlo was, the story initially gives several hints proving that he isn't Clayface, but in the end, we discover that he truly is. I confess that I liked this twist that the script pulled. Another interesting detail is how the creative team of the series effectively worked the contrast between light and shadow to enhance the aesthetic and narrative. Moreover, I also enjoyed how the soundtrack guided this episode, creating a horror atmosphere that fits this story perfectly. Not to mention how Clayface behaved in this episode, resembling a true monster pulled from a classic horror film. This episode is a great testament that Batman, Caped Crusader not only showcases Batman's character development arc but also his side characters. The side characters and villains are well developed, resulting in a dense story with various layers. To learn more about the Batman universe, I'll leave some good comic book recommendations in the description of this video. By using our affiliate links, you support our channel without paying anything extra. Thank you very much for all the support you give us. Thank you for being here in the video. Write your opinion about this episode in the comments. Did you like Clayface? Do you prefer this version, or do you prefer the classic mud monster we are used to seeing? Comment below. Tap on that sphere on your screen, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any reviews of Batman, Caped Crusader or other videos about DC and Marvel. See you in the next video.